let's make some project bags. So regular viewers will know that I'm part of an international online knitting group. We meet via Zoom a few times a week. We were doing that before it was cool, so pre-pandemic. And a couple of them are planning on coming over to the UK. So I figured, you know what, let's make them some gifts. And what's better to make for gifts for knitters than project bags? We all need project bags. So I was going to do this project on the Singer 99K that I bought recently, but that needs a bit of servicing. So first project, and that'll be a little bit further down the line. We'll come back to the 99K at another point, because there's just a few little bits that are stuck that need loosening up, like the bit to disengage the needle so that I can use the bobbin winder, that kind of thing. But project bags are nice and quick to whip up on a modern machine, so we'll get to that. And yeah, let's go and have a look at how we did it. I'm going to be doing lots of talking over the top of what I filmed, because the nature of filming when other people are home and making stuff when other people are home, you can't always talk as you go. So yeah, so let's flip the cameras around, get the footage up, and we'll talk through how I went about making these project bags. Okay, so here is the fabric that I picked out. As you can see, I've got some Rainbow Millennium Falcons, some denim. So these are all cut up small for pocket size pieces. I'm going to put some pockets on the exterior of the project bags. I find it quite useful to have pockets either inside or outside to put in like yarn labels, that kind of thing. And then we've got the exterior in denim, in a couple of different shades of denim. I had a pack of 3 that I cut up. The size was dictated by the amount of fabric I had available. And then for the lining, we have for my friends are coming from overseas, some Union Jack lining. We've got Ale coming from Italy, and Teresa, who's 33rd Street Knits, coming from the US, and also some kitten print fabric for lining as well. So I'm making 4 bags in total. The lining I've cut slightly taller than the exterior. So first step is to prepare the pockets. So I'm going to press the top edge of the pocket like I would do for a hem. I'm going to stitch that down as well in a second. This is so that it's got a neat finish when it's attached to the exterior of the bag. So a nice fancy lift itself up iron to do that. Being denim, it holds itself nice and evenly when it's pressed. And then we have all of our denim pockets for both sides of all 4 project bags, with their hem effectively stitched down. Now for 33rd Street Knits, she is a massive Star Wars fan, so the Millennium Falcon fabric is for her. That's going to be attached to the denim pockets for her bag. The Star Wars fabric is just fat quarters, it's just quilting cotton. So by attaching it to the denim, I'm giving it a little bit more sturdiness for the pockets. So here we have the Millennium Falcon fabric stitched down at the top of those pocket pieces. I've left a little bit of the denim showing at the top, but just like a little trim. So yeah, so that should work quite nicely on the exterior of the bags. So the next step is to attach the pocket pieces to the exterior of the project bag. So put the lining to one side and just take the denim exteriors. So I'm going to line the pocket up at the bottom of the exterior piece, and I'm going to put a vertical line of stitching down the middle of the pocket piece to separate it into 2, just because I find that's a better size pocket. So now the pockets are on, I'm going to also put a line of stitching about 1 inch up from the base of the fabric to create a bottom for the pocket so that things don't fall out the bottom and get stuck underneath the bag. As the next step is to sew 3 sides of the exterior of the fabric together to create the bag itself. Having done that, we're going to box out the bottom. So to do this, I do a little bit of fudging and fidgeting, which I can never quite get in frame, to line up the seams and flatten the corner out. I'm going to clip that in place with a wonder clip just to hold things in place. And then I will stitch a line about where I put the base of the pocket stitching, actually, so about 1 inch up from the seam at the bottom, straight across that corner to create like a triangle. And then we trim that triangle off so that we're reducing bulk at the base of the bag. And just create some nice, neat corners. So we'll get both sides trimmed off. And you can see it'll sort of stand up a bit. I mean, the fabric's not the firmest, I haven't interlined it. But just give it a bit of structure at the base. And once we turn it out the other way, we'll be able to see how nice that sort of creates the bottom of a bag. So it's a nice sort of neat finish and gives you a little bit of width in the bottom of the bag rather than it being like a tote. So there we go, there's our boxed out base to the exterior of the bags. So now we need to do the same thing to the linings, essentially. So we've put them together by sewing around 3 sides. We've left a bit of a gap at the top because we need to make a channel for drawstrings, and we've boxed out the base. Then we put the linings into the exteriors. I folded that extra height of the lining over the outside of the bags and stitched that down, creating the drawstring channel as I do so. And then we're going to use shoelaces for drawstrings. I find shoelaces really useful for drawstrings, apart from anything that they come in pairs. And they've also got a good solid finish at the end. The problem is my bodkin that I use for lacing things, it's not got a big enough hole for the end of the shoelaces, and you can't even really, like you would thread a needle, you put the soft bit of the shoelace through the hole, it doesn't quite fit. So had to get a little bit cunning to make this work, because the bodkin really does make it a lot easier to thread a drawstring through rather than fiddling around with the end of the shoelace. So I took some ribbon and I created a loop of ribbon on the bodkin. This is going to make all the difference for thicker ribbons and bits of elastic and that kind of thing, to be able to use them with the bodkin. So thread the ribbon through the bodkin, tie a little knot in it to create a loop, and then I can put the shoelace through the loop of the ribbon and use the bodkin as planned to thread the drawstring into the bags. So you'll see in a second that just how well that works. And we have got 2 shoelaces, so we will be threading each bag twice. Part of the benefit of the bodkin is its length. It's almost as wide as the project bags in this case. So as I thread the first one through, you'll be able to see that it really takes very little effort to get through to the other side. So I'm going to go through one way on the front and bring that same shoelace round the back of the bag. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing with the other shoelace, but starting from the other side of the bag, so that you've got the open ends on opposite sides of the bag. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. As we thread that second shoelace into the bodkin. So going to the opposite side to thread the second shoelace through. It is a little bit trickier with the second shoelace just because there's not a lot of spare room in the drawstring channel, and you are getting past the first shoelace as you come through. And obviously I've got the knot for the ribbon to keep the shoelace attached to the bodkin. Really, it's not too hard, it's just a little bit stiffer than the first shoelace. Obviously I need to make sure that the shoelace is still through the loop before the bodkin goes into the channel. So now that we've got both shoelaces in, we can pull them through so that they're even, and put the bodkin to one side and tie the shoelaces so that they're in a loop. So each individual shoelace, the ends are tied together. There we go, there's our first project bag completed. So we need to put the drawstrings in the others. They turned out quite nicely. So we've got all four ready for use. So the project bags with the Union Jack lining were very well received by my international guests. They have been gifted now. I have kept the other two with the cap lining. So one of them is better sewn than the other. This is why we do spares, so that we can have one that goes a little bit belly up. But yeah, the cap lining is rather cute as well, so I will be using these ones. I have attached a light bulb stitch marker to the pockets on each of the bags. That way when I gifted them to 33rd Street Knits, if you're familiar with her on YouTube, and our friend Ale was able to put a couple of progress keepers made out of Dorset buttons, one in red, white and blue because 33rd Street is American, and one in green, red and white because Ale is Italian. So they got those as well. But yeah, it means I can attach stitch markers myself and progress keepers to the outside of the bag, take them with me out and about. So yeah, that's how I made these project bags. It's a nice simple project. Would have been great to have shown it to you on the Singer 99K. I think project bags would be a good project for that because it's only got a straight stitch. But you never know. Next time I make project bags, I might have got it so that I've actually sussed out how to use it, because that's the learning curve. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'd love to see you in the next one. In the meantime, there's this video here that may be of interest to you, and I will see you soon. But until then, happy crafting and bye-bye for now.